Welcome. Today, we're taking a deeply disturbing journey. We are stepping away from the light and descending right into the darkest, most unsettling recesses of human psychology. This is an explainer that is really going to challenge your understanding of humanity, society, and frankly, your own safety. We're going to explore a genuinely chilling study of the most cold-blooded, manipulative people on planet Earth. All of this is drawn directly from the research and first-hand interviews compiled in the book Talking with Psychopaths and Savages, A Journey into the Evil Mind. So prepare yourself, because we are going spelunking into the absolute abyss of the criminal mind.
Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And when you look into the abyss looks into you. I just want to let the dark reality of that quote settle for a second. You know, when you spend your life analyzing the actions of people who commit unspeakable acts, you are staring directly into an abyss of incalculable heartbreak. The author uses this incredibly powerful motif to describe the sheer, crushing weight of trying to comprehend a mindset that is entirely devoid of human empathy. It's a very real warning about the toll it takes to seek out and actually try to understand pure malice.
Okay, let's dive into this. The source material we're breaking down today comes from Christopher Berry-Dee. He's a criminologist and investigative author who has spent decades doing something most of us could literally never stomach. He has sat face-to-face in maximum security prisons, places he calls human warehouses, with over 30 of the world's most notorious serial killers. He corresponded with them, interviewed them, and analyzed their pathology just to understand exactly how their deviant minds work. Throughout this explainer, we're going to objectively report on his findings, unpacking the grim psychological framework he uses to categorize these extreme offenders.
Section 1. Psychopaths versus Savages. Defining the threat.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how Berry-Dee draws a terrifying, fundamental distinction between two types of profiles. First, we have the psychopath. He points out that this is often viewed through a clinical lens. These individuals are emotionally disconnected, heavily grandiose, and they view other human beings simply as objects to be manipulated and destroyed for their own gratification. Then, on the flip side, we have the savage. The author notes that a savage might not actually fit a neat medical diagnosis of psychopathy. Instead, savagery is defined by brutal, unhinged violence combined with a deliberate, witting rejection of the laws and social constructs of modern society. They aren't just acting out of survival instinct like an animal. They know the rules of human behavior, and they violently discard them.
Section 2. Traits of the Psychopath. The Mask of Sanity. To truly understand the psychopathic mind, we have to examine the camouflage they wear. These individuals don't look like movie monsters. They blend in perfectly. They wear this mask of sanity that allows them to operate completely in plain sight. Professor Robert Hare's world-renowned PCLR checklist serves as a baseline for these exact traits. We see glibness and superficial charm. They are highly plausible and magnetic. They have a grandiose sense of self-worth that's completely detached from reality. They are pathological liars, cunning and manipulative. And most terrifyingly, they suffer from a complete lack of remorse or guilt, a shallow affect, and a callous lack of empathy. They simply do not feel for others. They are completely indifferent to the plight of anyone but themselves.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. The master manipulators. Psychological camouflage.
When these abstract traits are put into terrifying practice, it forces us to ask a really gripping question. When they act like normal people, when they express regret or sorrow, is there a genuine conscience at work? Or have they simply learned to mimic human emotion to get what they want? Well, according to the author's interviews, it is entirely mimicry. Inside, there is just a chilling void.
There was nothing going through my mind until they were already dead. I felt nothing. That is Michael Bruce Ross, an educated, seemingly normal man who confessed to brutally murdering multiple women. When the author pressed him on what he felt while committing these atrocities, Ross didn't hesitate. He felt absolutely nothing. He described it as just stepping through a doorway, feeling his heart pound and his hands hurt, but feeling absolutely zero empathy for his victims. It is a terrifying testament to the sheer emotional void of the psychopathic mind. Then we have the case of Kenneth Bianchi, which perfectly illustrates that cunning and manipulative trait we talked about. Bianchi was a savage, sadosexual killer who actually managed to convince several prominent psychiatrists that he suffered from multiple personality disorder. He literally invented an alter ego named Steve Walker, claiming this hidden personality committed the murders without his knowledge.
The author details the intense debate among medical professionals at the time, showing how Bianchi's pathological lying and grandiosity nearly allowed him to completely game the justice system and avoid the ultimate penalty. He was a master manipulator trying to beat the system from the inside.
Section 4. The Narcissistic God Complex. Power over life and death.
So the crucial point is, this grandiosity we just looked at often swells into something even more dangerous, the narcissistic God complex. That's the belief that they hold ultimate power over life and death. Take Dr. Harold Shipman, for example. He didn't lurk in dark alleyways. He wore a tweed jacket, corduroy trousers, and brogues. He was a trusted, beloved family general practitioner. But the author's analysis reveals Shipman had a psychopathic addiction to killing. He used his position of immense trust to administer lethal injections to his patients during routine house calls. His narcissistic belief that he was superior to everyone around him allowed him to operate in plain sight, completely undetected by the nurses, psychiatrists, and medical staff he worked alongside for decades.
215. That is the staggering confirmed number of victims Dr. Harold Shipman claimed. Think about that for a second. 215 trusting patients, mothers, fathers, and grandparents murdered by a man hiding behind a mask of medical care and societal respectability. It is a devastating reminder of how thoroughly these individuals can deceive us.
Section 5. Monsters Hiding Among Us. The Bubble World.
And this brilliantly illustrates the chilling climax of our explainer, because the most terrifying takeaway from the author's decades of research isn't just about the killers locked away in prison. It's a very real warning about the everyday society we all live in right now. The author warns that most of us live in a bubble world. We're completely unaware that these predators walk right among us. I mean, we don't exactly check a psychopathy checklist before we go on a date or hire an employee, right? The source highlights John J.R. Robinson, a former Man of the Year, who used the early internet, fake charm, and promises of employment to lure unsuspecting women into deadly traps. He was a master manipulator who weaponized the trust of our bubble world to satisfy his own savage desires.
The author's journey into the evil mind leaves us with a deeply unsettling reality. These people don't look like monsters. They look like the all-American boy, the sweet stay-at-home parent, the highly respected doctor, or the person you're chatting with online right now. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought, one that really echoes the dark themes we've uncovered today. Who are you interacting with in your daily life? Are you absolutely sure you really know what lies behind the mask? Stay curious, stay observant, and never, ever take the surface level for granted.